Hi again, everyone. Great to be back with you. This is Bob Burg with another episode of Go Giver Influencers Facebook Live. Today's episode, Influential Online Sales. And we have a very special guest who is back with us. You know, as you know, if you know me, you know I love selling and you know I love systems. Thus, it makes logical sense that I love selling systems and systems that help one sell. Defining each of those terms, well, selling is simply discovering what the other person needs, wants, or desires and helping them to get it. A system is the process of predictably achieving a goal based on a logical and specific set of how-to principles. In other words, the key is predictability. If it's been proven that by doing A, you'll get the desired result of B, then you know you only need to do A and continue to do A, you'll get the desired result of B. That doesn't mean it happens every single time right when you want it to 100%. No, because that's not life, okay? But what it does mean is that if you'll continue to follow it, it will come through. It will happen. It's predictable. We never know exactly when, sometimes really fast, sometimes a little less fast than we'd like, sometimes right when we think so. But it happens, and that's predictability. So today's guest has been with us before, actually episode 21 to be exact. Kendrick Shope focuses on helping people become top salespeople and very successful entrepreneurs. That's what she does. She's the creator of the authentic selling process, which has created millions of dollars in predictable revenue and predictable new business for her clients. She hosts the Authentic Selling Podcast, read thousandshope.com/TV. Now, Kendrick's work has been featured on the Steve Harvey Show, on NBC, Forbes, Inc., and more. Her website, excuse me, is kendrickshope.com. Be sure and get her 10 keys to double your sales. And I would read the URL, but it's too long, so Shannon will be posting that as she's posting all the other URLs. Our awesome Shannon Farabee, or as I call her, Shannon Awesomebee, will be posting those links as well. And you can connect with Kendrick via social media. So a little bit of background. My awesome business partner, Kathy Tajanel, and I have been working over the past year, maybe a little longer, on putting together some new online video courses. We're very, very excited about doing this. Kathy and I also happen to both be very big believers in not trying to reinvent wheels that have already been invented. So in terms of sales and marketing, we wanted as our coach, because Kathy and I are always investing in coaches. Kathy and I invest a lot of money, we invest time, we invest energy at getting better at stuff, because it's very important, because that allows us to add more value to you, which in turn helps us reach more people, which in turn helps more income. Well, you know how it is, you've read the book. So we wanted, in terms of our coach, in terms of the sales and marketing of this, we wanted a person who'd been there, done that, and could teach us how to do the same. There was no one whose name came up more than Kendrick Shope, and we got to know her over time, and we've been working with her. She is our coach, and I can't even begin to express to you in words how knowledgeable she is and how wise she is. It's no wonder that people who take her sales school come away from it with an entirely new ability in terms of sales, increased sales, and profitability. She's that good. And if there's one thing you know about me, I love sharing good people and good resources with other good people. So first, I'm going to suggest that you do whatever it takes to involve yourself in her sales school. She has some excellent resources for you to check out. Do this one first. It's called Free Sales School Mini Term. Subtitle, How to Host a Discovery Call That Converts. Now, the title of that alone says this is a person who knows how to sell and knows how to write copy. So Shannon will be is posting that that link to that. So just go ahead, sign up for that. It's free, Free Sales School Mini Term. Also, over this next 30 minutes, feel welcome to post any questions you have for Kendrick about selling. and selling online. This is a unique opportunity for you to ask her anything you'd like over the next 30 minutes. Welcome back, Kendrick.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is, wow, I'm humbled. I'm a little bit in awe of what you just shared, but thank you. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to your people about online selling. It's such an honor to be here and to be with you.
Well, thank you. The honor is mine, and we just appreciate you so much. Now, for those who weren't with us last time we chatted, take us back to how you even got into selling in the first place. Because as I recall, you are a psychology major, and at a certain point, young Kendrick Shope realized there wasn't a whole lot of ads in the paper for that, I guess. And so was it your grandfather or your father who said that you should be selling, and you had some trepidation about it, but you did it anyway? I probably got some of this all wrong.
That's pretty much it. Spot on. Yeah. So I had a psychology degree, and the plan was to be a marriage and family therapist. And I didn't want to do that when I got into it. I realized that I hold on to people's problems a little bit too much. I take them a little bit too seriously, and it's hard to separate myself. So that didn't work. And my granddaddy said to me, Kendrick, you're a natural born salesperson. You need to be selling. And I was like, I don't want to be selling. I probably had some icky, sleazy, slimy thoughts about what that meant. But I sort of fell into selling. I started work at a bank. And banking has become very sales focused in these times, and then graduated eventually to working for 3 Fortune 500 companies and became a top performing sales rep. So I sold for over a decade in corporate America, went to 2 sales schools, and I've done it all. I've done cold calling, I've done prospecting, I have done face-to-face selling. So yeah, that's how I cut my teeth, if you will, in becoming, in knowing a thing or two about selling.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Tell us, you mentioned the ickiness factor, and I've heard you talk about that before, because one of the things you do is you talk about taking the ickiness out of selling. I've often said that, when people say they don't like selling or wouldn't want to sell, it's not that they don't like selling, it's what they think selling is.
Yeah.
So do you find that, let me ask you 2 questions in one. Do you find first that that's a lot of what you have to get people past, the ickiness factor? And is there a gender thing to it? Do men or women, because I know you teach both, but I know you used to focus a lot on teaching women. Does one gender think of selling as more icky than the other?
Yeah. I think that the first thing, anytime you're going to adopt a new skill set, whatever it is, you've got to make sure that your mindset is right about it. So if you're engaging in an activity that you believe is icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, pushy, then you're not going to get the results that you could get, and it's not going to feel good. And we got enough in this world that makes us feel bad. Like, I don't want to be engaging in an activity that makes me feel bad on a regular basis. So that's the first step, is yes, absolutely overcoming this icky, sleazy, slimy, gross feeling. And my opinion is absolutely women struggle with that more than men. And I think that goes back to evolution and the fact that women stayed together as in groups with other women. I think that we are worried about being ostracized. We're worried about not being liked. I think we got a whole lot going on in our head. And yes, absolutely, we worry about being icky, sleazy, slimy, gross.
And probably too, I would think, because of the way women as consumers have been treated by men who are salespeople. You almost can't, especially like with car buying experience. I remember Lisa Copeland tells that famous story when she walked in with $120,000 in hand to buy a car, and the sexist salesperson, I don't want to say what he said because it's so icky.
Yeah.
But there's that thing. Is that what being a salesperson is? I have to treat people, like this, and of course not. So last time you were on, we looked at sales in sort of somewhat the generic fashion of sales. I want to take this, if we may, more specifically at online sales in this discussion, because I think a lot of people are really getting turned on to that. They see that, this is another mechanism that can be really utilized in an effective way. And now, again, you knocked it out of the park as a traditional salesperson. So first I'd have to ask, what kind of made you transition, if you will, into an online focus?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love getting the opportunity to share this story because I believe that a lot of people have these moments in their lives, and the more we hear how people deal with them, the more we'll all be able to go out and create a different level of happiness for ourselves. So my daughter is 10. She was about 8 years old when I was rocking her to sleep. I mean, about 2 years old, about 8 years ago, I was rocking her to sleep one night. And I tell her the same thing every night. You can be anything you want in this world. All you have to do is believe. And believe is a big word in our house. It is the magic word. Most people think it's I'm sorry or thank you because we're from the South, but it is believe. And so it just sort of hit me like a ton of bricks. It was one of those moments where I realized this 2-year-old doesn't understand what mommy is saying. She doesn't know what it means to believe in your dreams, but one day she's going to. And I put her in her bed, and I burst, that's even a word, into our doors. We were living in Chicago at the time, and I said to my husband, I am living a lie. And Bob, he's pretty used to being dramatic. I don't even think he looked up from the television. And I said, no. Look at me. Pay attention to me. One day, this little girl is going to say, Mommy, did you want to be a pharmaceutical salesperson, or as I like to joke, sell drugs, the legal kind, for a living? And I'm going to have to say, no, that wasn't my dream. I may be good at it. I may like it okay, but it wasn't my dream. And the next logical thought is, well, all of this belief stuff is a bunch of baloney, right? If mommy says I can be anything I want, I have to believe, but she didn't do it for herself. And so that led us as a family down a really exciting and scary adventure of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and eventually led me here to teaching online sales.
Oh, I love that. It shows that your highest value was being congruent with your daughter.
Yeah.
You know, with yourself, but with your daughter. I mean, this was very important. The puppy's right there. Hi, buddy. Oh,
they've
both
been
of them.
sleeping
Hi,
all
guys.
day, and now all of a sudden they're like, we want on the camera. We want on the camera.
Bring them on. Bring them on. And so, okay, I love that. That is a wonderful story. So I want to ask you, and we're going to get into the how-to of online sales, but I've got to ask you something first, because people ask me about this when they hear this about you. Okay, you were on the Steve Harvey show. I'm not sure there's a human being who doesn't love Steve Harvey. Okay, so I mean, there probably is somebody, but I can't think of who it would be. So we've got to ask you. We've got to get the background now of the show. You always look like you're having fun anyway, and you look like you had a blast. I think you sold them $1 million pen or something like that. Tell me to share with us first before we get into share with us the Steve Harvey experience.
It is one of the highlights of my professional career. One of the reasons is because my daughter got to go with me. And so we got to have this sort of full circle moment of, see, even a kid from Sweetwater, Tennessee can get on national television and make her dreams come true. But it was just great. I'll have to tell you, there are a couple of funny stories that happened. One thing was, the producers were great, and they're like, you can bring people with you. And so when we went through security to get back to the green room, this person looked up and said, are all those people with you? And I said, yes, sir. This is my first chance on national television, and I may not get back. So my mom is here. My husband's here. My 86-year-old aunt is here. My daddy wanted to be here, but he couldn't. I mean, like, I had a whole posse of Southerners with me. It was fantastic. And we had such a great time. I mean, everybody there sort of has the same mentality as it appears that Steve Harvey has, just fun. And it was around the holidays when we filmed it. He had just given everybody these massive Christmas gifts. I was like, I want to come work for Steve Harvey if he's giving away televisions. This is amazing. And it was a great time. I felt very much like a celebrity. And then when it was all over, we went out to dinner, and I said, Hallianna, that's my daughter, what was it like to see Mommy filming national television? And she said, hey, Mommy, I met Nancy Grace. In other words, she put me right in my place. Like, you're just mommy. This real famous person was here. Her name was Nancy Grace, and I got to meet her. That's what she went back to school and told everybody. I met Nancy Grace, and her teachers gave her the opportunity to talk about being on the set. She's like, no. The cool part was I met somebody really famous. That was great. She put me in my place. But it was fantastic. And it really was one of those full circle moments where I am incredible. I will be thankful for that until the day I die, because Halliana got to be there, because my family got to come with me, and it was a hoot.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So online selling. First, I got to ask you this question. Do people sometimes think that because they don't actually have to see face to face the person that they're selling, helping to own it, do they feel it's going to be an easier thing than regular sales, or do they come in with some false expectations? Unwrap that for us.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I had false expectations. I thought, once I started studying about this industry, I thought, gosh, I'm going to put a website up and I'm going to be a millionaire and it's going to be amazing. And it doesn't happen like that. No, there's a lot that comes between putting the website up and making $1 million. So I think there's a lot of false expectation. And that just is. I also think that, yes, about 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I asked a group of entrepreneurs. It was about 17,000 entrepreneurs. How many of you believe, online businesses, how many of you believe that you need selling in order to grow your business or reach your customers? Not one of the people who responded said they needed selling. They said they needed marketing. They said they needed systems. They said they needed product development. They said they needed all of these things, but not selling. So I think that there was this misconception about selling when I came into this world, that we don't need it. Selling is, picking up the phone and cold calling, or selling is knocking on doors. And people didn't realize that selling has to be infused into your online presence, or you just have a really expensive hobby.
Right. Exactly. Very good. Very well said. So we're going to go over some tools here, because you've been, and of course I'm on your mailing list, so I get your emails, and I don't know how you do it. You keep on sharing more stuff, and I'm thinking, is there really more? And there is. You just keep on,
there's so much more.
I know, and it's like, wow. But so first, I want, if Shannon, if you wouldn't mind, if you could put in the discussion window the free sales school mini term. Okay, and this is what I'm going to suggest everybody, if you're watching this, go to, or seeing this on the replay. Go to this right now. It's Kendrick's free sales school mini term. Excuse me. How to host a discovery call that converts. Again, I apologize for the last vestiges of this. We're still not sure we know what vestiges mean.
No, but let's keep saying it, because that's fun.
Because it is a cool term. It's like when I get to say hence.
Yes.
And So these are some of the tools, okay? So these are some of the things. The first one you call the Obama tool, which has nothing to do with politics, presidency, or anything like that. But it's absolutely brilliant. I had never noticed it before you brought it up. Tell us about the Obama tool.
So this is a tool that I just sort of invented myself. And again, it doesn't matter if you're Democrat, if you're Republican, if you're independent, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But I was watching the debates years ago, back when then Senator Obama was running for president. And, the moderator would say to the Republican candidate, whomever, it was at that time, how are you going to solve the problem of the national debt? And the Republican candidate would say, we're going to blah, 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 and we're going to blah, 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 and we're going to blah, 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 blah. And then they would say, okay, great, Senator Obama, how are you going to solve the national debt? And Mr. Obama would say, well, we're going to, number one, blah, 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 blah. We're going to number two, blah, 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 blah. We're going to number three, blah, 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 blah. And I noticed that I kept remembering and paying attention more to what Barack Obama was saying. And then I realized it's because he is keeping our attention with this. We're going to number one, we're going to number two, we're going to number three. it didn't matter who I agreed with. I remembered more of what he was saying.
Exactly.
And so that is the same thing that happens when we're selling, right? You've heard the expression, Bob. We've all heard this expression. Anybody who sold anything has heard the expression. It's a disgusting expression of verbally vomiting all over somebody. Like they teach you in sales schools, don't do that, right? Don't go in and just blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. But sometimes there's a lot you need to say. And a great way to do that is to use this Obama tool. So this tool, this amazing product, this MacGuffin, if you will, is going to help you. Number one, blah, 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 blah. Number two, blah, 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 blah. Right. Number three, blah, 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 blah. That's what we call the Obama tool. And when people get too wordy, like when we're in sales school and I'm hearing people, give their discovery calls or whatever, I'll say, you need to go Obama right there. You need to go number one, number two, number three. And it instantly is more memorable.
You think about something like that because, the message, regardless of who it's from, could be basically the same.
Could.
And yet when you, number one, blah, 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 number two, blah, number three, blah, 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 that's the one that's remembered. I mean,
it is.
Wow.
And there's just, if you think about this, so research shows, we are a community of people who multitask, right? Especially with social media.
True.
And so if you think about in the online world, being on a sales call with somebody while they're multitasking, because they very well may be, research shows that when we multitask, we have the same brain capacity as someone who is smoking weed, who is high from smoking weed. And so how much are you going to retain from this wonderful product description if you're multitasking and your brain capacity is the same as somebody who's high? So we've got to do some things to help our prospects out, to help our prospects pay attention. Number one, number two, number three.
I love it. I love it. Okay, next tool is called the Prince tool.
I love this tool. So one of the things that I found, and just when I started teaching online, was that I teach a lot of sales tools with these goofy little songs. And so this is a sales tool that you've heard as well, except it probably wasn't called the Prince tool. So in corporate selling school, they always said, keep it simple, stupid. And I hated that.
Yeah, what a lousy thing to call someone.
It just makes me cringe,
yeah.
Right? Uh-huh. And I understand what they mean. I understand the whole premise behind it, and I hated it. So I took keep it simple, stupid, and I turned it into the Prince tool. So it's, for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, it's the artist formerly known as Prince. Mm-hmm. He had this song called Kiss. I just want your extra time and your kiss. See, all of a sudden it's memorable because the idiot's singing on TV.
Not an idiot, but it was very memorable because the beautiful, talented, charming, intelligent, and wonderful Kendrick Shope sang it. I've
got a funny story to tell about that. But anyway, so the tool is the same thing. Keep it super simple. You want your copy to kiss. Lots of times we try to make our copy witty and we try to make it fun and really, really smart. And if people are having to think too much, they're going to go away. When I was brand new to this industry, I was reading a sales page and it had DIY all over it. Now we know that means do it yourself, but I did not at the time. I was coming from corporate. I had not seen DIY. I was engaged in every word on this page except DIY. And finally I clicked off. I never bought the product. So I'm like, I don't know what the flip DIY means. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't simple and it wasn't, simple enough. They didn't keep it super simple for me. So you want to make sure that it's keep it super simple. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you a funny little singing story. So when I first started, I knew that nobody knew who I was. And I had to get out there and say, okay, I can help you with this. And so I started a video blog. And we started it from my bathroom. We painted the wall. We put all these words behind it so people would know that I was in my bathroom. And I would sing. So the intro, because I didn't have money to do the whole cool intro. So I would go, hey, beautiful, thanks for tuning in to today's TV and the terrific Tuesday tip of the week. And my husband would come in and he would say, please stop. Nobody's going to take you seriously if you do that. And I still have people to this day say to me, hey, will you sing the terrific Tuesday song?
Oh, that is funny. That is funny.
Yeah. So I teach a lot through song.
Well, and it's obviously working. Okay, I want to go to another tool. This is, well, speaking of singing, the Dr. Dre tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
what
this
is
is
that?
one that sales school students literally, like, I can see their faces when I teach it, and they literally, some of them are so shocked. I don't know if it's my Southern accent or what, but for those of you who don't know who Dr. Dre is, Dr. Dre was part of NWA. Then he became a very successful rapper. And then he is the guy who created Beats headphones and made the deal with Apple, the multi-million-dollar deal with Apple. So he's a businessman now. But in 1996 or 95, 95, I believe, Dr. Dre had a song called Keep Their Heads Ringing. And it went ring, ding, dong, ring a ding, 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 dong, keep their heads ringing. And I loved that song. I was graduating high school, loved that song. And so your copy on your website, on social media, needs to Dr. Dre your customer. And that simply means it's so good that they're head nodding. You know, the head nodder can be the annoying person everybody's talking about, but we want people to feel like you have gone inside their head. You understand what they're suffering with so much that they're doing, yes, 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 this is me. And it's not just a goofy tool, because you know this, Bob. Every click, every yes is a silent close. And if we get 7 to 10 closes, we're more likely to get a yes, right? So every time somebody's like, yes, that's me. Yes, they're head nodding. They're keeping their head ringing. Then they are that much more engaged with your content and that much more likely to trust you to help them solve their problem. So we use this tool, like when I'll read social media posts, or I will read somebody's sales page or email. So this is great, but we need to Dr. Dre it a little bit. And here's how. How about if we do this? Or how about if we move this here? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, they're head nodding me. That makes sense.
You know, it says to me regarding the head nodding that they know that you understand them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not that we changed, or selling is selling, right? I mean, you've got your pain points and you've got your struggles, and then you've got your product or service that can help that. And then you've got how people are changed because of your product or service.
Mm-hmm.
By Dr. Dreing your copy or your social media, you overcome the number one reason people don't buy. And that is they don't trust that the product or service is going to do what we tell them it will, right? Mm-hmm. If they trusted, if they really had this problem and they trusted, they trusted that you could solve it, they would pay you. And so by Dr. Dreing them, they are that much more likely to see, this person gets me. They understand me. I am not alone. I want them to help me solve my problem.
Kendrick, I would imagine that when you build an online selling business, this is very good for the person who's either the single mom or dad, the stay-at-home mom or dad, because it really allows them the flexibility. Do you find a lot of your clients report that? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, one of the things when this is our 6th year of running sales school, and I have a lot of students who were like me and who have quit their corporate job to do something different. But I have a lot of people who want to be in charge of their schedule and need to be home when the babies are sick or need to whatever. And this allows you to do that. Even when Hallianna was a baby, or I guess a toddler is more accurate, because she was 2 when I started this, and she was sick, even if I had customers I needed to meet with, I could keep her right here beside me rather than sending her off to daycare when she's sick or having a stranger come into the house. It is lovely to be able to pick my child up every day from school. I get to pick her up every day. That's amazing. I'll never get that time back. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think that having an online business allows you to do some of those really special things that we feel like as parents we have to choose between now. Do I have to be a really stellar employee and be driven to make a lot of money and miss this time with my kid, or can I be with my kid and make a lot of money? And you know what? I'm living proof that you can make a ton of money, mm-hmm. you can help a ton of people, and you can pick your kid up every day. It's possible.
Well, and that's exactly, excuse me, that's exactly what you've done. And so I want to, if we can, let's take a few minutes to talk about sales school. First of all, just anyone who goes to your site and sees the endorsements from people, which of course is also part of how to sell online, but you obviously, you preach what you practice and you practice what you preach. But Kathy and I, again, we're just enamored with you because what you've helped us do in the writing of our copy and the positioning and knowing how to approach this course is just fantastic. So So I want to encourage everyone to go, and I think Shannon again just promoted the site. So please tell us a little bit about what people can get first from the the free mini one you've put together, and what they can expect as far as actually attending your sales school.
Yeah, so I would say that anybody here who is in any selling of any kind could benefit from free mini term sales school. So basically what I did last year was I asked our sales school alumni, what's the most powerful thing you learned in sales school? And they voted. And they voted on this discovery call that converts. And I said, I'm going to give it away for free. So basically they got to vote. And then I said, we're going to turn it into free training. Every year we put out the best free sales training about running an online business that exists. And we do this in a couple of ways. One of the ways is the free video series. So it's a 3-part video series, but also the entire month of April, I engage with the community. So literally I will get on Zoom and you can ask me any question and I will give you either advice. I will give you how-tos. We will tweak your copy. I tweaked a whole sales page last Monday. So it's literally live interaction, live coaching. It's really important for us to be touchable and for people to say, oh, she gets it. She understands. And so that's what we do. We open up the authentic selling community. It's totally free. And that's all part of the free training. So not only do you get the steps of how to do these things, but then you get to go implement and you can come back to me and say, I tried this and it didn't work. Can you help me fix it so it does? That's what makes the free training so cool is they get live coaching with it and it's all free.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you, if I can just serve as an endorsement, and I've said it a few times, Kathy and I just can't stop bragging about you. That's how much you've helped us. So thank you. The proof is always in the pudding. So Kendrick Shope focuses on helping people become top salespeople and very successful entrepreneurs. She's creator of the Authentic Selling Process, which has created millions of dollars in revenue and new business for her clients. Her website is kendrickshope.com. Subscribe to her Sell Like a Woman podcast. Hundreds of thousands of listeners all over the world. Be sure and get her 10 keys to double your sales. And all of these are being posted right now. And Shannon has done her awesome job. Yeah, as always, of doing that. So, Kendrick, thank you so much for joining us. Can't thank you enough, and good luck in your upcoming sales school.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Bob. It is my total pleasure. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
So long, everyone. Until next time, I am Bob Burg, wishing you a great day.